All right, everyone. I'm glad you're all here. We are live, we are recording, and you're in the right spot for today's webinar, Rock Your Restaurant's Marketing Strategy in 2019, Six Trends to Tackle. My name is Geoffrey Brown. Like I said a little bit earlier, I'm one of your hosts for Main Street Hub, and joining us today is Buzztime Business. We have Micheal Wagner. He's the Content and Community Specialist at Buzztime. So glad to have you, Micheal.
Very glad to be here. I'm excited to get this webinar.
Now, I'm going to let Micheal tell a little bit more about himself in just a minute and what he does at Buzztime. But like I said, my name is Geoffrey, and I'm part of our local outreach team here at Main Street Hub, where I get to host educational webinars just like this one, as well as travel across the United States, visiting cities like Columbus, Ohio, Houston, Texas, Miami, Florida. Now, one of my favorite parts about my job here at Main Street Hub is getting to meet local business owners just like you, getting to learn exactly how you use social media and how you want your business to be helped by social media as well. Now, Main Street Hub, who do not know who we are, we've been around for a little over 8 years, and we're 100% do it for you service, helping over 10,000 local businesses across the United States, managing social media sites like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and your favorite review sites that you all know and love, Yelp, Google, and TripAdvisor. Now, like I said, our services do it for you, which means that we use tools developed by our world-class engineers and designed with the needs of small business owners in mind, just like you. Now, this is probably another one of my favorite parts of what we do over here is that we've written over 10 million posts for local businesses. 10 million, that's a lot of posts. So we've gained a ton of data and a lot of insight, and I'm so happy I get to share that with all of you today. And now I'm going to hand it over to Micheal to talk about Buzztime and what he does. Micheal?
Hey, Joe. Thanks for that introduction, Geoffrey. Just a little bit about myself. I am the Content and Community Specialist here at Buzztime. Basically, what that means is I handle social media for the business aspect. I speak with people within the community, such as restaurant and bar owners. I handle our Facebook group. I also handle our blog here on the Buzztime Business. We post usually around 2 or 3 times a week, and it's really a great opportunity to get to know our business and the people that make Buzztime great. Basically, what Buzztime is, we offer in-venue entertainment for businesses such as bars and restaurants. We've been doing it for over 30 years now, and basically what we have done is we achieve this by constantly evolving. With new technology, we integrate latest trends into our in-demand products, and we really are excited to be here with Main Street Hub and get this webinar underway.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Micheal. And so excited about this agenda today. It's jam-packed with great information for you, local business owners. So first, I'm going to kick us off with how brand authenticity and personalization is going to shape buying decisions. You definitely want to make sure that you're being personable and authentic all the way through. So knowing your voice and knowing your brand is going to be a tremendous help in making sure that you're tackling 2019 in the right way for your business. Next, Micheal's going to dive into what kind of food and beverage trends you should be implementing, whether that's sour beer, vegan burgers. You definitely want to make sure you're not leaving anyone out. So he's going to go over those and make sure that you're ready for that as well. And next, I'm going to tackle how to use visual content and video on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you're not using visual and video content on these three sites, your business is missing out. So I'm going to go over some tips and tricks on how you can make sure that you're standing out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And next, Micheal's going to dive into how technology is taking a major step in 2019. Yes, we all know about social media. We all know about tablets and how we're using them in restaurants. But now it's time to go and beyond and beyond that. So he's going to go over some tips and tricks on how you can handle that as well. And next, I'm going to be going over why your bar or restaurant should shift focus to Generation Z. You definitely want to make sure that, yes, you're not leaving out your millennials, but you definitely want to start focusing on Generation Z right now. And taking us home is going to be Micheal to how to evolve your social media presence for today's consumers, going over some helpful hints on how you can make sure you're doing that as well. Now, don't forget to tweet us at Main Street Hub and also Buzztime Business, and use the hashtag 6Trends. Now, we also have our very own Caroline Barker in the room today, dropping in some helpful links and giving out some great valuable information in the chat box. Everyone say hey to Caroline. So glad she's here. Now, like I said, don't forget to tweet us at Main Street Hub and at Buzztime. And do not forget to use that hashtag 6Trends. Definitely tune in. Let us know that you're tuning in on Twitter. And also give a shout out to both of us. We'd love to hear from you as well. Now, I know this is going to be very broad in what we're going over today. So if you do have any specific questions about social media, whether that's your review sites or Twitter or Facebook, definitely click this link to fill out, and one of our marketing executives will go over your social media sites with you. Make sure that you're doing everything right and how you can engage with more customers. So I'm going to go ahead and kick us off with how brand authenticity and personalization will shape buying decisions. So for a brand to be considered authentic, it needs to be perceived as reliable, respectful, and real. No, I'm not talking about Old Yeller. I'm not talking about your dog, but I'm talking about your business online for social media. So we feel inspired by authentic brands and emotionally invested in their success. So we buy their products even when there might be less expensive alternatives. Companies perceived to be authentic build brand loyalty and tend to be a little bit more profitable. So the brand and your voice of your restaurant or bar defines who you are and what you're standing for. Through these two identifying markers, a potential or a current customer should be able to write your mission statement. So a brand defines your customers' expectations. It determines their loyalty. So determining your target audience, whether that's families, you have professionals, sports enthusiasts, the single and hip crowd, that's me, will help you define your brand. Now, if your restaurant or bar was a person, what do you think they look like, and how are they dressed? Your brand must be foremost in mind about from the conception of your restaurant in such a way that it does not wave. So I love this great example from Everly ATX. So look at this. A person's walking down, they're serving up that great food, but I love the caption right here really hits home. We've got a table with your name on it. See you tonight, with a little winky face. So this is how you want your voice to be demonstrated online through social media. Your voice is your brand's personality. Like I said earlier, is it welcoming? Is it fun? Is it engaging? It defines you in a few other marketing strategies that as well. So if you could use one word to define the person to depict your brand, who would it be? Playful, sophisticated, inspiring. And this is your restaurant's voice. And it's going to define the language you use throughout all of your marketing platforms, including social media. And it will define how you respond and engage with your customers as well. So how do you responding to your comments on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter? How are you responding to your reviews on Yelp, Google, and TripAdvisor? Your portrayal of who you are and what you stand for is going to determine if your voice is whimsical, complex, or educational. And do you have a target audience in mind? So choose your voice accordingly. Now, I also love this other picture over here, this great example from Instagram from Bacon Bros GVL. Applebee's may have their Dollarita, but we have this great lager on draft for $1.50 during happy hour. So you definitely want to make sure that when you're deciding your voice's brand and your voice, you definitely want to make sure that it's not just stale, it's engaging and it's fun. Just like in this example with Bacon Bros GVL, they have a great beer lined up and right in front of his face and an enticing caption that's going to get your audience engaged and still coming back to your page to figure out what's going on as well. Now, alongside with coming up with your voice and your brand, because remember, you definitely want to make sure that you're showing brand authenticity, is you definitely want to make sure that you have a content strategy in place, a strong content strategy. So the first step in what you're going to be doing is building out an active, engaging social media strategy. It's to outline some of your goals for your business. So how do you want your online profiles to serve you this year? Are you hoping to find new customers in your area? Do you want to build an engaged following? Maybe boost your online reputation or something else entirely. So your voice and your brand should always be a guiding light to the frame and the kind of posts that are going to end up being scheduled. And you want to learn from that data on what works towards your goals. So by defining your business's goals, you'll be able to brainstorm purposeful content that's going to be meaningful to your business success. And think about it this way when you're outlining your goals, when you're posting as well. You don't want to just post simply for the sake of posting. Be intentional about the information you're showing to your new and potential customers online. So once you've outlined your goals, now it's time to plan out your year. Now I know me when I'm thinking about my entire year, the first thing I'm starting to plan are vacations, time off, and trips to see family, and weddings that I'm already invited to. So when you're planning out your year, before creating any specific post for your calendar, you want to take a zoomed out glance at your entire year, whether that's 2018 or even this upcoming year, 2019. Take the time to actually mark the beginning of each season, spring, summer, fall, winter, and you're going to make note of any holidays that your businesses will be closed for. So Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and pencil in any significant events in your business's community. So for instance, I know here in Austin, we had this huge tree lighting. And I remember my first year I moved to Austin, it was insane to try to get to. I think we drove around the highway at least 3 times. So that's a big, important community event that you would want to make sure that you're creating posts for specifically for your business, whether that's a restaurant or a bar. You definitely want to make sure when you're looking out at the year, you're looking at these community events because community events are what your audience is going to get engaged with. It's what they're going to really want to see on your page as well. It's going to make your brand feel even more engaged, even more authentic as well. So, with your monthly content, so you've already outlined your goals, you started planning out your year. Next, it's time to get that monthly content out there to get excited. So, the beginning of each month is a great way to start scheduling out your new next few weeks of content. I love this example with Fresa South First. It's that time of the year, and they have a great Thanksgiving spread over here. When you're a bar or a restaurant, you definitely want to make sure that you're being mindful. Are you catering? Are you doing any type of events around Thanksgiving? Are you going to be closed for Thanksgiving? So if you are catering, if you're giving out meals, if you're volunteering that day, but your business is still open, make sure that you're posting out that content, making sure that you're posting it early. Nobody wants to be bombarded the last minute right before Thanksgiving that, oh, you have fresh baked pies that are $5 a piece, or you have a turkey that's for sale for this X amount of money, or you're going to be actually open on Thanksgiving Day. Make sure you're planning ahead and make sure you're getting your audience engaged and involved with scheduling monthly content as well. So once you've outlined your goals, you planned out that year, you scheduled that monthly content, hey, now it's time to actually create those posts. So you can start creating your specific posts. I love this example with Holman and Finch Public House. Here's how we celebrate National Pate Day. So whenever you're thinking about scheduling out your posts and your monthly content, look at these national holidays that are not so national and not so well known by everyone, like National Donut Day, one of my personal favorites, National Sour Beer Day, National Vegan Day. So anything that you think would be great for your audience, great for your business, celebrate that day as well and start creating those posts to make sure that your audience is getting engaged. They're staying top of mind, especially for the 2019 year. So sometimes when I'm looking on Yelp or Google, this is the first thing that I come across when I'm searching for a business, just their business page. And it's going to give me all this great information, but you want to make sure that when you're searching online and your consumers are looking for a business, they actually have all the information they need to see to make that buying decision. So you definitely want to make sure that your review sites are optimized, just like in this example with Papa Dom on Yelp. As you can see right up here, they have Indian, vegan, and desserts. So if I type in one of these 3 things, Papa Dom is going to definitely come up. If you're a bar and you don't have that up there, or you have cocktails, or you cater, and people are looking for those certain types of things, if that's not categorized in your review sites, then you're not going to pop up. And that's the last thing that you want to happen, especially around the holiday season, but more importantly, going into a new year when people are looking for new businesses to try out. So making sure that your review sites are optimized and ready for when people are landing on them is going to be great for your business as well. So not only do you want that optimized at the very top, but you also want to make sure that people can definitely get a sense of your business as well. Is it casual? Is it upscale? Is it hipster? How's the noise level? Can I bring my kids? Is it family oriented? Do you have Wi-Fi? That's a huge thing, and Michael's going to go into that a little bit later. Are dogs allowed? That's a huge thing in Austin. I feel like you're required to have a dog or some type of pet, and so any type of restaurant or bar that wouldn't allow a dog would be unknown of. So you definitely want to make sure that you're listing all these things to make sure that your audience knows exactly what they're going to be expecting when they walk through that door. So your review sites are out there, your social media sites are out there, but in order for you to stay authentic and personable, you definitely want to make sure that you're giving a reason for your customers to come back. So you don't want to solicit reviews, but you want to make sure that you're encouraging this feedback. So this is a great example from Plus One Pizza Athens. Our secret ingredient is the love and support we get from all of you. And they simply leave their Yelp link with a great picture of them stirring up that dough for that homemade pizza crust. So you definitely want to make sure that you're encouraging your audience to leave you this feedback, because everyone is going to remember a great experience, but they're definitely going to start leaving reviews for negative experiences they're having online or in your business. So you definitely want to encourage your audience to leave you this feedback. And that's a great way for you to encourage people to get engaged with you and also appear more authentic online as well. Now, you just can't leave these reviews high and dry. You definitely want to make sure that you're responding to them. I suggest responding to your reviews within 24 to 48 hours. I know that's quick, I know that's fast, but you definitely want to make sure that you're showing your customers, even future customers, great customer service online. So let's look at this review that Kristen left. She said, amazing. We had the shrimp and crab au gratin dip, fish tacos, and jerk shrimp tacos. Everything was delicious. And these were probably my favorite shrimp tacos ever. The pineapple salsa and pesto sauce really made them unique. Definitely was a highlight of our trip to Cartersville. The atmosphere was nice and the staff was great. So this is a great all-around five-star review. But when you get a review like this, you want to make sure that you're responding, not just for Kristen, but for all the other people that are looking at your review site and they're deciding if they want to come to your restaurant or bar, or if they want to go down the street. So the business owner responds back within 24 to 48 hours, and the business owner says, thank you very much, Kristen. Being personable and authentic right off the gate, using her first name. Shrimp tacos and pineapple sauce and pesto slaw is one of my favorites too. Being personable, sprinkling little breadcrumbs in there, making sure that she knows that he was attentive and actually reading and listening to the review as well. I hope you'll come back. I hope you'll come back and see us next time you're in Cartersville. Leaving that open line of communication and also letting future customers know that, hey, just because you come once, we want to see you again as well. So come back and see us. So leaving that open line of communication is really important. So being personable, taking things from what your customer said from the review and putting them back in the response, making sure that you've read the review and you're being personal online, and wrapping everything up with leaving that open line of communication. Really setting the tone here for future customers when they look at your review, showing great customer service online. And last but not least, you definitely want to make sure that you're sharing these great positive reviews. You show great customer service in person, but not everyone's going to see that because they're not in your restaurant or your bar yet. So show that online through your Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram page. And I love this great example from Agave Mexican Bistro. Your satisfaction is what we strive for. And this is also another great way to show people, hey, we have a Yelp page, Google, or TripAdvisor page. And this is also another unique way to encourage people to leave you feedback as well. And it's simple as you just copy and pasting this review and putting it in a picture just like this. You can't go wrong with any of the menu items, and the staff is happy to accommodate dietary concerns. And I love this particular review because they're also showing that, hey, we don't just serve people that are carnivores or people that just love veggies. We serve everyone, no matter what your dietary needs are. So making sure that you're highlighting specific reviews that are going to show great customer service, but also great things that you're doing in-house as well. Now I'm going to turn it over to Michael to talk about what kind of food and beverage trends you should be in.
All right. Thanks, Geoffrey. I really appreciate that first part. I mean, it's huge. The huge part that social media, things like Yelp and creating content, is just a huge part of running your business and running it effectively. So yeah, we're just going to jump into some food and beverage trends to watch in 2019. One of the biggest things is focusing on the younger generation. They're the ones really driving demand now for your healthy-ish food and unexpected flavor profiles. Millennials and Gen Zers are really shaping the current trend of food and beverage. They're really looking at, they have more adventurous palates, so they're more willing to try different combinations of flavors as well as venturing outside of your norms of you want to just imagine Italian food or American food or anything like that. They also are really focused on wellness, looking at kombucha, really interested in their gut health, interested in not eating primarily meat. It's those are kind of the trends that we'll look at, and we'll go on some specific examples. Of course, we can't go over everything here, but one of the biggest things that we've noticed, especially 2018, kind of the tail end of this year, has been the emergence of Beyond Burgers. They have really surged in restaurants, as well as you can even find them at grocery stores now. Even the local Trader Joe's by us has Beyond Patties. So it's really important that this is a focus for restaurants in 2019. offering the alternatives. 8 in 10 millennials eat meat alternatives, and 6 out of 10 Americans of all ages, not just your millennials and Gen Zers, are interested in eating less meat. So, looking at just trying to decrease the amount of meat they're intaking every year, and they're not necessarily vegetarians or vegans. These are meat eaters that are trying these different options, like the Beyond Burger. So definitely that should be a focus, I think, for restaurants and going forward. And plant-based is can be kind of scary because you don't really know exactly how to use it or kind of where it's going to go on your menu. But just offering that as an alternative to maybe some burgers that you have on your menu already is a huge help. Uh, it looks, it tastes, it actually sometimes this is a little maybe too much information bleeds. So it can be this thing for people to integrate into their diets that isn't meat, but also gives them that healthy benefit of a little bit less meat in their diet and focusing on plant-based food. Another thing is going to be craft beer. Craft beer over the last couple of years has really exploded across the nation. I know here in San Diego, personally, it is a huge part of our culture. Craft beer is king. And of course, the king of craft beer still is IPAs. Still, about 40% of all craft beer sales in America are IPAs, and they are the king of the craft beer scene. But what we're seeing is kind of this trend into this sweet and sour craft beer. Sweet being this new innovation. It's called milkshake IPAs. And when you hear milkshake, you're like, oh, they just pour an IPA on some ice cream and that's a milkshake IPA. No, basically what it is they add lactose sugars into the brewing process, and it sweetens it up and smooths it out. If you've had any beer on what's called nitro, or it's nitrogen infused, it has that creamier, kind of milkier taste. That's kind of what you're looking at with the milkshake IPA. It's maybe very niche, but it is something that I think in 2019 you'll see a huge surge in. Another thing that you will be seeing a pretty large surge in is the sour beers. Sour beers are kind of hit or miss for a lot of people. They are something that you do need to develop a bit of a palate for. They're very tart. You'll see a lot of ones with cherry or um, other tart fruits that are infused into the beer. You're looking at your gozes, your lambics, your wild ales. But sours are really a great beer for after dinner. They're good kind of finisher to the meal, kind of give you that kind of tartness after all that savory food that you've eaten, kind of smooths out and rounds out the meal. So those are kind of the huge trends that we're kind of tracking in 2019. So what I'll do is I'll hand it back over to to Geoffrey, and we'll touch base on how to use visual content and video on Facebook, Instagram.
Thank you, Michael. And I'm not gonna lie, I love meat. I will eat steak, hot dogs, hamburgers all day long. The Beyond Burger, like you were just talking about, it is amazing. um, Here in Austin, we have this place called Joe's Coffee Shop, and they actually sell that burger. And you are right. I know this is a little bit too much information, but it does bleed. But it is the best burger I think I've had in a very long time. So believe me when he does say this, it is a huge trend that's sweeping the nation little by little. And also, sour beers are really good. Like you said, you can't really have a lot at one time, but they are amazing. They are some slow sippers, but a really nice touch to any day of the week, any time of the year. So two really spot on trends that you were just talking about right there. So your small business needs to be on social media and specifically using visual content and video on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All three sites, you need to be using both of these things. So when you're looking at Facebook, specifically in this example with Easy Tiger, you definitely want to make sure that you're paying attention to the time of the day you're posting. Just because you post something and it gets great traction one day doesn't necessarily mean it's going to do the same thing the next. So be mindful of when you're posting online, but also it's going to give you a chance to see what's working for your audience and what's not working. So posting at different times of the day throughout the week and posting different types of content, remember, you don't want to just post for the sake of posting. You want to make sure your posts are varied and really speaking to your audience to get engagement for them, to make sure they're getting in tune with your business and your page online for social media. So, and this is a great example. Buy one, get one small pretzels tonight, only at our 6th Street location, available in both the bake shop and beer garden. And so they were doing this around happy hour. Their happy hour ends around 6:37. So this is the perfect time. If you've already promoted your happy hour earlier in the day, why not promote it again just for a little treat for people that might just be tuning in to their social media after work? Perfect time to be doing this, and also a great way to use visual content to entice them. I look at these pretzels and I'm like, yes, I want to grab a beer, some beer cheese, hang out with my friends, and call it a day. When you're posting online, give them that effect. Make sure that they know they're missing out on something just like this amazing pretzel or an amazing Beyond Burger or a great time at your brewery. Making sure they know these things and making sure you're posting at the right time of the day is going to create that effect. So, whenever you're thinking about using visual content, you have to make sure that your framing is on point. Taking the time to engage with your users on Instagram by posting high quality content will help get more eyes on your business and bring new customers to the door. So the main thing about Instagram is how you frame the photo. And I'm not talking about let's get lights, camera, action. I'm just talking about looking at how your audience takes photos. When I walk into a restaurant and I order my food, the first thing I do is take a picture. You see me standing up, you see me getting in line with the table. Take cues from your audience, take cues from your customers. That's exactly what they're doing. They're lining up to make sure they get the best photo possible to brag and share to their friends on social media. So you, like I said, try different angles, like shooting from above, getting on that chair, just like in this example with South Kitchen Bar. And they go on to describe their great dish that they're serving, but shooting from above is sometimes one of the best angles that you can get for food. It really shows it off and allows you to actually add in a little touch-ins just like they did with these flowers right here. But think outside of the box. Do you serve margaritas? Put that on the side of your meal. Do you have your menu with a logo on the side? Add that in as well. Brand recognition is going to be really important when you're framing up your picture to make sure that you're creating that engagement and also that you can show off this great, amazing food or that tasty drink that you've been concocting throughout this whole month that you want to get everybody excited for. Now, lighting. You can't take a great photo without lighting. More importantly, you want to make sure when you're using visual content that you're adding in hashtags as well. Hashtags are huge. It's what people are going to be searching for when they want to find great content, but also this is another way for you to make sure that you're having great relevant content that people are going to be searching for as well. So with hashtags, you can also think of local hashtags. A big question I get from business owners is, how do I come up with a hashtag for my business? How do I make sure that this hashtag is going to be standing out amongst all the other ones? A really simple solution to this is a couple of things. Number one, you want to be consistent with your hashtags. Try them out, see if they're working. Also, see what other businesses are using to garner that attraction as well. More importantly, use localized hashtags for your business. So I love this example with the Pine Friday night crab cakes and sparkling rosé. And they use hashtag eat drink together, hashtag 5 Points Athens, hashtag Athens, Georgia. When in doubt, go local. And not only for local businesses, but using local hashtags. It's what's gonna garner that engagement and trigger that memory. Oh, I'm in Austin, Texas. I'm in Athens, Georgia. I can easily search this hashtag and see what's going on. Or eat ATX or eat Athens. Think of things like that, or even search and see what other restaurants or bars are using, and work that into your social media strategy as well. It's not stealing, it's just you working smarter, not harder, and seeing what works for you in your business. Because might work for another business might not work for you as well. And Michael is right, that is how you find places near you. Using simple hashtags, especially localized hashtags, I can't tell you how many businesses I stumbled upon that are right around the corner from my house. And I'm like, I've never visited this bar, I've never visited this restaurant, I'm gonna give it out a try just today. Or if they have a great following on Instagram or just overall a great social media presence, I'm gonna probably visit there as well. So when you're using video, you're using visual content, Instagram is the way to go. So you definitely want to keep in mind that you're posting on your social media sites 2 to 3 times a week, keeping it consistent, varying your content. Now, I love Instagram stories. I'm addicted. And with Instagram's algorithm being a little bit thrown off, Instagram stories and Instagram highlights are going to be your best friend walking into 2019. So, with Instagram stories, you definitely want to make sure that you're not posting every single day, but you want to make sure that you're using your stories wisely. So, yes, the Instagram algorithm can be challenging, but using your stories in a way just like this, like Nickel City did to promote one of their events and also make it more humanized and more authentic for their audience, really garners that attention and creates engagement. And people are more likely to visit your Instagram story over your feed. Because think about it this way, you spend 5 hours on social media. Out of those 5 hours, you spend 38 minutes on Instagram and then 23 minutes on stories and highlights. So stories and highlights are a huge thing on Instagram right now since the algorithm is crazy. So making sure that you're honing in on these are going to be really important. It's an easy way for you to have that human interaction and show your personality through your stories as well, but also to promote events. And I like this example with Holman and Finch, 10-year tour. And this event is on December 2nd, but they're already promoting it now. It's just going to create that buzz, keep that in the back of their mind so their audience knows exactly what they're doing. So let's say that you're posting these stories, and stories only last 24 hours. Where do my stories go? How can I make them last longer? Well, if you're trying to figure out how to get more engagement from your audience, you definitely want to hone in on Instagram highlights, which I love Instagram highlights because it's located right before you get to your actual feed of your Instagram page. Right above, right below your logo, right above your feed. So if you're a restaurant or you're a bar, you can definitely categorize this to make sure that you're getting the most out of this. If you have an event, you can create an event tab to where all your events that you put in your story are now in your highlight section. If you do a behind the scenes, which is going to make your business seem even more authentic, more personal and real, put that in your highlights as well. If you have an employee of the week of the month, put that in there. New dishes that you're going to be premiering for brunch or for happy hour, put those in your highlights. People are more likely to be looking at your highlights over your feed because it's going to be easier for them to get to. And they can also save this information as well. So when in doubt, if you can't really figure out anything to post, use one of your posts that you've already posted and put it in your highlights or put it in your stories to promote an event, happy hour, or a new menu item as well. And I'm going to pass it back over to Michael to talk about how technology is taking a major step in 2019. Michael.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Yeah, so technology is a huge part of your business. Customers are expecting technology in your restaurants and your bars now, and we'll take a look at kind of what 2019 has in store for that and kind of some ways that you can get ahead of the curve. Increased tech touchpoints are huge for guests. In a recent consulting firm found that 74% of today's guests want easy, frictionless ordered payment systems, but only about 45% actually utilize this kind of technology. Guest-facing tech is huge, and basically it gives them the power to order as well as pay without having to deal with wait staff or having to um, have that potential for a poor engagement with a server. One of the biggest ways that they can really improve on this is using payment on tablets or using smartphones as your payment source. One of the huge things that here at Buzztime we do offer is technology in restaurant. So we do have tablets that offer payment solutions, and it does make it so much easier for customers to take kind of the experience into their own hands. They don't have to worry about trying to flag down a server. They can just sit down at the table, there's the tablet there, and then they start their experience. Of course, you're going to have your server touch the table every once in a while just to make sure that everything is going smoothly, but the technology really just enhances the experience and can streamline the experience for the guest. You don't have to worry about them feeling like your servers are getting overwhelmed by other tables. They're kind of just self-sufficiently taking care of themselves. Another huge thing that I know we talked on earlier was Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is huge, and there are four major rules that I do want to go over when it comes to Wi-Fi. You want to make sure that it's free, you want to make sure that it's fast, and you want to make sure that it's functional. Free, simple. Do not charge for Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is expected most anywhere you go now to be free. If you're charging for it, you're just creating another reason for a guest maybe to not come back to your location. They'll come in, they'll be like, I don't know that I want to go to a location where I have to pay for this, and then where else are they charging me extra money on their food or for entertainment or anything like that. You also do want to make sure that it is fast for them. One of the biggest things that has come out in recent years is mesh networks. I know they have it for your home, but they can also install it into your business. There's things like Google Wi-Fi, Orbi, or Linksys Velop, which are all awesome options. They're basically little hubs of Wi-Fi that you can move to different points of the location that just give you a stronger internet connection and just enhances the Wi-Fi experience for your customer. And you want to make your Wi-Fi work for you. That's why the functional is the last point. You can use free Wi-Fi, but you can also have these gateways or portals that they have to sign up through to get to the free Wi-Fi. You can make them either leave a review, follow you guys on social, sign up for emails before using the Wi-Fi. It just allows for that functionality and just makes it that much easier for your business to operate, and then give them that great experience with the strong Wi-Fi. And then the last point I do want to touch on for technology is digital signage. Simple software can really turn your TVs and monitors into digital signage. I know Buzztime here, we do also offer digital signage packages. Basically, what it can do is just create this other point for guests to see specials, locally advertise to you can advertise to local businesses, bring in that ad revenue from the outside, and just make your TVs work for you. It helps drive up sales, and in a recent Nelson study, it found that sale items promoted on digital signage increased by up to 33%. So it can really work for you and kind of make your TVs another source of revenue, as well as making it a good place to promote your product in the restaurant itself. You don't have to worry about servers memorizing entire special menus. It also can be a great place to test different specials. People will, look up at the TVs, or watching sports, or or they're playing games. It gives them a great other option to be like, oh, hey, there's a drink special going on right now. They'll ask their server, and then it just creates from there. So next, Geoffrey's going to touch on why your bar or restaurant should be shifted.
Thanks, Michael. And you are so right about the Wi-Fi. I cannot tell you how many times that's the first thing I automatically do is as soon as I walk into a bar or a restaurant, I'm like, all right, what's their Wi-Fi password? But also, if you're like me, you're still in the family plan, your mom's like, hey, watch that data, get on Wi-Fi. So I constantly have that in my ear as well. So that is a huge thing, especially with millennials and also Generation Z as well, having a strong, fast, and functional Wi-Fi connection. Whether you're hanging out with friends and sending texts so they can know exactly where you are, or you're just overall trying to check their Yelp or Google rating. So, Generation Z is the first generation that has had access to the internet and social media throughout their entire lives. I was watching Disney videos on VHS. So, this has encouraged them to focus on and express their individuality. And Generation Z expects the brands and products they use to match and be part of that identity. So it goes back to my first talking point, authenticity. Because of that, attracting Generation Z requires brands to develop a level of trust with them, largely through being honest and open about their company and products. So when you're thinking about your brand and you're thinking about being authentic, the first thing you want to do is make your brand come alive. And no, I'm not just talking about taking a picture of myself and saying, Geoffrey is part of the marketing team at Main Street Hub. He is a local outreach representative. That tells you a little bit about myself, yes, but who am I? What do I stand for? And what are you trying to do? That's what Generation Z is looking for. So just like Michael was talking about the food and drinking trends, that is a very huge thing as well, but they want experiences. So they don't experience a restaurant or a bar without their phone, whether it's to place an order ahead of time, read those reviews, make a reservation, split the check, or post a meal or drink or entertainment review. Generation Z never experienced the day of walking into a restaurant and not knowing what to expect. So I love this example with Nickel City ATX. It says, "Did you miss the Trash Tiki seminar today?" Remember, Generation Z loves experiences, especially experiences where they're really hands on. Don't double down on that mistake. Swing by for a night you'll never forget. You don't forget, you don't remember. Cash only benefiting Keep Austin Fed starts at 8 p.m. Now, another thing that Generation Z, just like millennials, love as well is the art of giving back. They want something tied into it where they feel they're doing something good for not only themselves, but for mankind as well. So, whether that's pet shelter, whether that's an art experience, whether that's pretty much anything, the art of giving back, that's what your Generation Z wants to be involved in. They want real experiences, they want authenticity. So just like I was talking about introducing myself, you want to go a little bit above and beyond when you're being authentic and you're even introducing your staff members for your restaurant or your bar. And I love this example with the National. Meet CJ Brown. No, we're not related, but he's a powerhouse of cocktail creativity and a keen research of all things beverage, food, literature, and otherwise. So when you think about having an employee of the month, when you think about an employee of the week, don't just list, they like this dish, they like this cocktail. Give a little bit about themselves. What's their background? What are their interests? What do they like? And don't just snap a picture of them just smiling there. Show off a picture of them doing something active, something real, just like CJ is when he's pouring these drinks. And they also tell what he's actually making. So by making your brand come alive, you're not just sitting there and just explaining who you are and describing what you are, but you're really giving that behind the scenes look of who your staff members are, who your sous chef is, who that person that creates all these fancy cocktails are, giving them that behind the scenes look and making your brand come alive full circle. Now, not only do they love to see your brand come alive, but they like to be involved in that experience as well. I mean, who doesn't like to be involved with social media? So I took two great examples. One on my left is Bird Biscuit, and a great example of user generated content. And also on my right hand side, a great example from Twitter of how you can retweet. So user generated content is a great example of how you can get engaged with Generation Z and make them feel a part of the brand and also to create that online experience. Think about it this way. I like this caption with Bird Biscuit. They said the number one stunner. And they actually took this picture, used this picture from one of the people that actually visits their restaurant. So by doing this, they're getting engaged with their audience, creating brand loyalty, authenticity, but also getting this person engaged online as well. Because what happens when they get engaged and this restaurant uses a picture from this person? Their friends like this, their family members. They're like, oh wow, you're on Instagram, you're famous. That's exactly what happens. I've always been wanted to ask to share one of my pictures on Instagram for user generated content. Hasn't happened yet, but hoping I will one day. But that's exactly what you want to do. You want to make sure that you're getting engaged with your audience and using their photos, but asking them first to create that brand loyalty and brand engagement. Now, this is a great example on Twitter. Hello, Nashville at Jack's Barbecue. I'll try all the sides, please. When you go to barbecue, you can't just get one side. You have to get potato salad, mac and cheese, coleslaw. You have to get it all. And this is a great example of how Jack's Barbecue retweeted this, getting engaged with this other user and showing off great user generated content online. And this is just a great picture that they actually used from this customer and also using a localized hashtag as well, hashtag barbecue. So making sure that you're getting engaged with your audience just doesn't mean, hey, how was your food today? Or, hey, how did you like this drink? It now goes above and beyond that with Generation Z. They want to see you get personalized. They want to see you be authentic. And what better way to get authentic than actually getting engaged with them, asking to use their pictures online as well. So you want to make sure you're appealing to everyone. Just like we were talking about food and drink trends, you definitely want to make sure that you're not leaving anyone out. And I love all three of these examples. Just like with the National, carbo loading for the app half, we've got you covered. And they have a beautiful plate of pasta, this great cheese, this amazing sauce. And in the middle, I love this example with Joanne's Austin. Yes, they serve great meat, they serve great biscuits, but they also serve great veggie bowls as well. So for our veggie friends, and they list the items that they have in this veggie bowl as well. Don't leave anyone out. Just because your barbecue place doesn't mean that you can't hone in on all those vegetables that all the vegetarians might like. Yes, they might be cooked in lard, but hey, still good, still a good side. And you can't forget about the people that are coming to your bar. They're coming for happy hour or cocktail hour. Because a great story never started with eating a salad. It hasn't. I haven't heard one yet. So, time to get sipping on our new seasonal cocktails. This is just a great way to get involved with those people that are always looking for a happy hour, always looking for that excuse to go out. This is going to appeal to them as well. So, remember, don't just focus on that one customer. Focus on everyone. Make them feel welcome and make them feel invited through social media. And now I'm going to turn it over, Michael, to take it home to how to evolve your social.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Yeah, I mean, I know you're waiting to be a social influencer on social media with the with other locations retweeting you or uh, sharing your likes on Instagram. I've actually had a few times that that has happened, and it actually is like driven me back to the location. So it's a huge way to engage with your customers, but also get a second visit out of them. So yeah, we're going to focus on social, this evolving social science of the bar and restaurant scene, and focusing yourselves on social events in 2019. It's time to kind of expand what your definition of an in-venue experience is. It's not just having live music, or you got to think beyond the band now. So I did pull a quote from Steve Cannon, CEO of Mercedes-Benz. Customer experience is the new marketing. So that's how you're going to be bringing back guests back into your location. It's by creating a great experience for them, and then that's how they're going to come back. You want fun is what builds loyalty. Facebook asked 14,000 people to describe their favorite business. The top word they used was quality. The second most was fun. So you want to build that quality fun for your customers, and that's what's going to drive them back into your location. Live trivia. That's another way to create this social event for your customers. You want to basically incorporate these different touch points. We talked about tech earlier, and trivia, it can be that touch point for technology as well as fun. Here at Buzztime, we do have live trivia and poker on the tablets. So it creates this engagement for the customers. Either if you do want to turn tables faster, it has digital dining. But if you want to keep people in, have another beer or grab another appetizer, it's a great way to kind of lock those customers into the location, and make sure that they're spending more and spending more time at the location. We actually do have one of our case studies with Beef O'Brady's, who is a part of Buzztime, saw an increase of pitcher sales by 200% and saw customer traffic increase by 40% just through using live trivia and Buzztime. So it's a huge benefit for locations who are trying to drive up sales, who are trying to get that engagement from their customers, as well as make it more of a social experience for them. Make it a point for, hey, Thursday night we're going to go out and play trivia at our local bar. Oh, they don't have a trivia night? Oh, but they have Buzz Time, so we can set up our own trivia event. So it's a great way to just create these experiences and have your customers coming back for more. Another thing aside from trivia is kind of doing things like a paint and sip night. I know I've been to a few with my girlfriend on some date nights where you'll get a pint of beer or you'll get a glass of wine, and then they'll set up like a painting prompt, and you'll paint an art piece, or you'll do some ceramics, or there's just these different engaging kind of out of the box ideas that kind of people are like, well, went and had a pint at our local brewery and did this art thing. That was really fun. We'll check to see if they'd ever have another event like that, or let's go and try like an appetizer idea. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with these DIY workshops. There's even some breweries and some bars around here that are doing these yoga afternoon sip-in stretches. So you go and do yoga, you enjoy a craft beer, and you have a great time. So just trying to do something different from the norm and create these different experiences for your customers is what's going to bring them back. And I think that's a huge point for 2019, is just get creative and have some fun. And yeah, I'll turn it back over to Geoffrey to kind of wrap this up, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much. And I can attest, yes, I've been to one of those yoga and sip or like workout and then you get a beer right after. Those are so much fun. I have yet to go to a paint and sip. I'm not that artistic, and I feel like I would not keep up, so have not tried one of those yet. But hey, thank you so much. But definitely want to recap what we've gone over today. I know that was a lot. The sip will help. I hope it does. First, we went over how brand authenticity and personalization is going to help make that buying decision. Are your review sites optimized? Do you know your brand? Do you know your voice? Is your content planned out? Making sure you're taking those tips from that very first section we went over is really important to make sure that you're tackling 2019 in the right way. Next, Michael went over what kind of food and beverage trends you should be implementing. And I think this goes along with one of my later points I made. You definitely don't want to make sure you're leaving out anyone. So include those sour beers. Look at the Impossible Burger. Making sure you're including everyone and really looking at these food and beverage trends to really make sure that 2019 is going to be a great year to stay at cusp with some of those as well. Next, I went over to how to use visual content and video on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Definitely want to make sure that your picture is framed in the right way. You want to make sure you're utilizing those stories and highlights on Instagram. More importantly, you're utilizing local hashtags to complement the great photos that you have for your restaurant or your bar. And next, Mike went over to how technology is taking a major step in 2019. It really is, and it's not going to go anywhere. So you definitely want to make sure that you're accustomed to it in-house and online to make sure that you're keeping your audience engaged no matter where they turn. And next, I went over why your bar or your restaurant should shift focus to Generation Z. They're looking for more personal experiences. They want to be involved with your brand, and they're looking for hands-on experiences as well. Think about to leads me to our last point that we talked about, how to evolve your social media presence for today's customers. Think about that as well. Think about the sip and paint. Think about all those opportunities that your business can have of having those great opportunities for trivia as well. So when you're trying to evolve your social presence for today's consumers, think outside of the box, like Michael said. Don't just think about having a regular happy hour. Think about having trivia with that happy hour as well, or having a themed happy hour. I know Stranger Things is a huge hit, or Disney, or The Office. All these things are great ideas. If it's relevant and you probably think it's funny, your audience will probably think it's funny as well. Definitely want to give a huge shout out to Caroline today for being in the chat box. Thank you so much. Those links were so helpful. Also want to remind everyone to don't forget to tweet us at Main Street Hub and at Buzztime Business, and also use that hashtag 6Trends. Want to say a huge thank you to Buzztime Business as well, and to Michael. You're amazing. This content was amazing. I hope everyone took some valuable tips and tricks from this webinar today and able to implement this into their business strategy for 2019 as well. Now, I know I mentioned this a little bit earlier on in the webinar, but if you're looking for that one-on-one assessment, a little closer look into your social media sites, don't forget to click this link right here, and we will be in touch with you as well. So I know that was a lot of information, but if you have any questions, go ahead and chat them in the chat box. Michael and I are ready to tackle those questions right now for you. Thanks, Brandon. Really glad you could attend today. Really appreciate it. I know one question that I get sometimes from business owners is, I know I touched on this a little bit earlier, is how often should I be posting on social media? I always highly suggest 2 to 3 times a week and leave an extra post for an event that you have coming up. Or if you're thinking outside of the box and you're hosting trivia, use that extra post to promote your trivia as well. All right, everyone. I know that questions do come later, but thank you so much for all attending. Really appreciate it. Great webinar today. Great content from Buzztime and Michael. Want to say a huge shout out. Thank you again. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to chat them in the chat box. We have a few minutes left.
I just wanted to say to Geoffrey, thank you so much for inviting us here. We really did enjoy being a part of this. And yeah, if we do see any other questions here in the next few minutes.
Yes, the recording will be available after the webinar. You'll get a copy of that as well. So even if you did attend and you want to listen to this again and take some more notes, actually implement this into your business strategy, you'll be able to listen to this as many times as you would like. No problem. Awesome, everyone. Thank you again for attending. I hope you all have a great Thursday and an amazing rest of your week and a great weekend. And continue to love what you do for your business. And we'll see you here next time. Thanks, everyone.